believe that the language that indeed was the proto-pre-Babel language was the Hebrew language, how does Africa then, which is the cradle of mankind, connect to Hebrew? Okay, I'll show you how. Now, let's look at the Hadzabe language. And from here, I'll bounce off of the Hadzabe into the Bantu and then to the other languages. So please pay attention as you watch this clip over here of this Hadzabe man and what he calls food, okay? Pay attention not only to the word, but also to the non-verbal gestures, because you not only get meaning from words, but also the non-verbal gesture. So please pay attention here, and then I'll be back to explain it. Hang on.
Eat.
Now, having examined that clip of the beautiful Hadza people, notice that the gentleman, when he's asked about what do you consider edible or meat in that sense. Now, the word that he keeps saying is what he says, manako. Manako. And then one person in the back says mana. Okay? Mana. So he kept doing this. Mana. Meaning, you know, it is food. It's meat. Alright?
Eat.
Now, if we go back, okay, and we go back to biblical language, all right, you do see that word manna so many times, okay? And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about right now, all right? Now, if you look in Exodus 16, verse 31, you will see that the Bible says that the house of Israel named a certain food manna. What is manna? Manna was food that fell from the sky when the Israelites were travailing in the jungle. All right? And they called it manna. All right? Now, if you see again the Hadza tribesman, when he's referring to food, all right, or basically food or meat, he says manna, manako, manako. Now, and then you hear somebody in the background saying manna, especially towards the end. All right? The manna in the Bible was food to eat, and the manna that you have with the Hadzabe is also food to eat. Do you see the parallels in that respect? Now, when we come to the Ekegusi language, Ekegusi Bantu language, you will find that the word mana, okay, mana has to do with the idea of moving your hands, doing something while moving your hands, all right? Now, when, for example, you're searching for something, you're trying to look for something. I remember my grandmother would tell me, mana, manango. Okay, manango. She'll tell, meaning that, can you look, can you search? It's the idea of using your hands to prod or to check and see what's in there. You see that? Yes, so that's mana. Now, when we get to the Hebrew language, the word mana actually is rooted in that prefix word me, okay? That means what. So the word manna just means what is this? Do you see that? What is this? So while in the Hebrew word, the word manna, okay, the food that they got, the divine food they got from heaven, manna that they were picking from the ground, just simply means what is this? That's why the house of Israel called it manna, because they didn't know what that food was. They had never seen it, okay? And they were looking at it and they said, oh my God, it tastes like wafers or something with honey, and it looked like coriander seed. They didn't know what it was. So they were constantly prodding and prying to try and see what that was, all right? So in Hebrew, manna means what is this? In my language, manna means to look, to search. That's exactly what the Israelites were doing. Searching the food to see what it is. Do you see that? All right. Then they had zabe mana or manako means food, right? Now, you will also see even in terms of the Babylonian language and Hebrew language, the word manna. or mene means a unit of measure. Again, remember, it's the idea of using your hands to measure something. All right? Now, when we come to the Indo-European languages with the word mana, okay, and mene with that consonant MN, you will see that within the European language, let's start with the word menu. Menu has should I say, a collection of different kinds of foods, okay, for different mouths or different tastes. So whoever comes in there can pick whatever they want. All right, menu, okay, it just means, you guys know what a menu is. All right, now in Ekegusi, when you say the same word, okay, in English say menu, for us we say menu. In the Abagusi language, okay, which is Bantu, menu just simply means mouth with a plural. We know very well English has borrowed from so many other languages. All right, so menu is a place, is basically a book or a paper that has all the kinds of different dishes that would be served. For us, menu just means different mouths, okay? And different mouths tend to have different tastes. Do you see how the word menu came about? And you see how the word mana came about? And mana in Ekegusi? You see? So somehow these languages tend to have a subtle connection that will tell you, even though they're not of the same language group, it still tells you this language has a common origin. All right, so with that mana word. However, in Latin, from where you get the word for man, okay, and comes from the Latin word manus. Manus, what does manus mean? It means a hand. It means a hand. All right, manus. So do you see when the gentleman from the Hadza tribe is saying mana, manako, and somebody else is saying mana, okay? He uses not only his hand, but his mouth, okay? Weirdly, that in Ekegusi, menu is mouth. Menu, many. Mana, to such. Latin, manas, the hand. Do you see how these language or these words seem to point towards a common ancestor in terms of how this language was distributed? All right. Now, a friend of mine who's Somali also told me that in Somali, the word for sweet is ma'an or ma'ano. And in fact, to call somebody sweetheart is mane. Okay, see the concept again of tasting. Okay, now, remember even with what I told you, that menu, in English, of course, you know what it is. It's, a record of all the foods that, say, a restaurant will have. And for us, menu is mouth, plural, plural, okay? Now, you also have the idea of mena. Mena is lick. Mena is simply to lick. Now, if the Israelites at that point were looking to see, what this manna is about, remember that manna in itself was sweet, okay? Not the Somali word for sweet, ma'an or ma'ano. And sweetheart is mane. All right, for us, mena means to lick. These are all ways in which you can try to see, to see what the taste of, say, a certain food is. You can either lick it and be like, I don't know if I like it, or touch it and see, mana it like that and see. Okay, so, and even the word mamanua in Swahili is to kind of separate using your hands, separate something using your hands. So again, look at how these root words in these languages that are not even related, Bantu, Indo-European, Hadza, which is an isolative language, they're all in essence connected. Does that mean then it is possible there was a Proto-Pre-Babel language? Well, please let me know in the comments. God bless you. Shalom to you and yours. Bye. Salama.